Game number 1 is a golden break.
It's been a trend here. Couple matches ago here on the stream table, we started with a golden break as well.
Yeah, drawn up just like he planned. That's always the goal. 2 rails into the 9 with the cue ball. The big man with the opportunity to do the same thing. Probably the hardest break on the World 9-Ball Tour. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of guys that get into the balls and are very similar. But consistency is really tipping your hat to Kaci.
I was able to get the 1 ball down. 9, no movement there. Take another look at that.
Yeah, and look at the cue ball tracking back and forth across the cover of the 9 or the face. Does he have a look at the 2? I believe he can make it.
Yeah, it looks really manageable.
Maybe not. He might, looking at the way he's addressing the cue ball, tells me he might have to just shave it. We'll know pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know if he can get to it, Brad.
If not, you try to come up here back behind the 3-9.
Yeah, it looks all right. He might actually go with an outside ball as well. He could go up table with the cue ball and chip the 2 below the 8 and just try to swing around, but I think the 3-9 is most logical. He might just be a little worried about leaving the cue ball a little short of the 3 or 9.
A little elevated here. Yeah, funky position, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he sees the play that I'm kind of touching on there, is where he just kind of chips the 2 with a little bit of a low outside ball and wraps the cue ball around 2 rails above the 3. 2 finishes below the 8. You've kind of got the 5 and the 8 as cover. Is he going to the jump cue looking to... Oftentimes these guys will try and shave over just the edge of the 5. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. Basically landing on the 2 here. Yeah, that was a tall order. Got the 5.
Yeah, 4 gets a little messy here, though. I think 4 real close up to that 5 ball.
Yeah, I guess what you do, you use the 3 to try and reach it. And if you don't get there, you just send the 4 away and use the 5 as cover.
Yeah, some opportunity to be patient. You can always revisit if you don't get the leave you want. There's enough traffic on the table.
You can definitely 3-rail, like if the cue ball finished right there on the 4, you can 3-rail the 4 around. It's not going to contact the 8 and weld him up to the back of the 5. So maybe that'll be plan B if he tries to get steep on the 3 to where he can go over towards the 5 and the 4. And that's what he's doing. So he really needs to fall absolutely perfect here. You cannot ask for much more than that, and I think you can still manufacture something. Don't believe it plays in either side, but it does play to the top left. Does not play to the top right or the right side. He's got a powerful stroke, Labutis. I think he can punch over Brad, maybe above the 8, unless he thinks he can trickle down below the 8 with an outside ball.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit of angle there.
Yeah, so he's going to just weld him up to the back of the 9, I believe. Wants to make sure not to fluke a ball in up in the top right. He was more concerned about the object ball there. Felt like he could do it a little better with the cue ball, though. I was actually a little surprised because he's so precise with that cue ball. Maybe just try to... Typically, these guys will try and weld them up so they can't get to the easy rail, which at this point could be the top rail, but might be cut off from it.
Yeah, not as close as he'd like. Leaves Kaci a better look at it than what we expected. You'd still get the 5 back down table with a good hit, and you have the 6-7 up there that could provide a little bit of cover. Just going from the top. You play the 5 down toward the 8-9.
Yeah, going from the left long rail. So he did cut the top rail off, obviously, I guess. That's what it tells me. Don't believe this is going to finish. Well, yeah, it did not finish good.
Fairly routine 7-8-9 here. Pull up, use a couple rails to come back around.
Needs to carry. Caught the object ball a little thick and also probably a little bit of a let up from what it looked like at the finish. Oh, and he's overcut it. A little body movement as well there. Thought he might take the bank on, Brad. The pocket was pretty big to the opposite side. Kaci going to steal one to knot it up at 1 apiece. Sweet. There you have it. They increased the payouts, 15K up top, but now 13th through 16th is 3,000, was 2,800. 9th through 12th was 3,200, now 34. And then I think they increased it by 500 every increment after that, which is pretty awesome. It's good stuff there. Ooh, a flick off the 8. Save the day. Excuse me, the 2.
Looks like he's got the very outer edge of that 3-ball. Play back down table. A lot of blockers there.
Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't mind it, Brad. If he can get into it enough to kind of just one rail it towards the top side of the table. Might have to use an inside ball. I don't know. Definitely could travel down towards the back of the pink. If you can get into the 3 enough with an inside ball, I think that would work. I guess the reason I'm talking about an inside ball is I just don't know if he's got enough of it to catch the outside. Yeah, so he's played it 2 ways, cue ball and the 3.
Doesn't get a lot easier here.
No, it definitely doesn't, and I didn't expect him to actually be able to make the 3. It looked a lot thinner from the angle that we had. I guess you can just bank the 4 up towards the 6 and draw back a foot. Interesting to me. Felt like he could just draw straight back and bank the 4 up towards the 6.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. He had that sharp angle coming down on it. It's never a comfortable place to be, and this isn't a walk in the park here for Kaci. That's a thin ball way up table.
Yeah, most likely going to try to send it back down towards the 8. Could come off the left side of it as well.
Yeah, still not time yet to go on the offense here.
Yeah, I don't know, Brad. I mean, I feel like he probably just wants to bank the 4 back down towards the 9 and maybe use cover on the 6. Where did he go?
Not sure. This isn't the first match someone stepped away from. So you're saying you think more favorable to thin the left side of the ball here?
No, you would catch the 4 full, like
Okay.
banking it down towards the 9 and just send a cue ball 1-2 up behind the 6. Might do that, right? He's got cover between the 5 or the 6 that way. Could edge the left side of the 4 as well.
Better on Kaci's matches or anything.
Yeah, so he ended up banking the 4 back down. I don't know, Brad, if he can get a left side of the 4 or not. If he can't get to the left side of the 4, we know he can't get to the right side of the 4, then maybe the left long rail is cut off by the 5.
You might be able to see it off the rail, but I don't think anything good could come from that. I got to use a couple rails here.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. And can he bend the cue ball towards the 4 if the 5's got him cut off from the left long rail here? Might have to elevate or dig into this ball to allow the cue ball to arc or shorten up. Yeah, I don't know how much of this rail he's got. Might even have to go to the jump cue here. Kick to the long rail, because the 5's really got him cut off from where he wants to hit. No, that's as good as you can do. Distance and pretty straight.
A beautiful hit.
Alright, I guess he's able to go forward, but boy, it looks pretty tight to me. Thought he might have just have to elevate a little bit and smooth it in. No elevating. Kaci had a bad accident a couple of years ago now. Almost 2 years ago, I believe. Speared it. But oftentimes, he and I've talked a lot about it, when he elevates that bridge arm, he can have some issues with the forearm. He had a compound fracture, and it was very, very bad. Recovery time was around 6 months, and he still struggles with it. Oh, he's come with 2 great shots back to back. The long ball, now killing that twice.
Kaci looking sharp early on. Tied up at 1 rack apiece right now. Nice look at this. Can kill it right to the rail. All right. In a position to just pull back here. Perfect. Right across the table. Simple pot to leave himself a straight 9. All right, and Kaci will go up 2-1 with the pot of this 9.
On the 4. I thought that Labutis made a great hit. We are back.
So there's been some variation about where the players choose, right? We've seen people go to the very edge of this break box, this WNT break box, and here we're a little bit further in. What helps designate the preference here, Scott?
It's player preference, right?
Okay.
But there are some keys to it. Europeans are typically more towards the middle, like almost right on the middle. During the Mosconi Cup, the Americans were way on the outside to the furthest point, and the Europeans were way towards the center, just off center, whether it was right or left. The common denominator, if you go back and watch the Mosconi Cup, and it didn't take long to figure it out, is that they continued to get looks at the two. They were all making the one on the break, but they continued to get looks on the two, whereas we were parallel with the sides, or we were linked to the table from head rail to short rail down low, and it just continued to happen. So there's something to it, right? There's something else that took place during the Mosconi Cup with the break box. The Europeans were using leather tips on their break cues. We were using phenolic. I think that leather, you can get into the cut a little bit more with that low ball. Back and forth here. Super clean. I mean, very, very clean. Good signs for him. And when I say clean, I'm also looking really, Brad, at how the pocket's entering, how the ball is entering the pocket, right? Everything's going in clean, especially the long ball last game and now the two. Center cup.
Yeah, do you think part of that has to do with the fact that they are used to playing on a slightly tighter pocket, so they're not used to having the sides of the pocket?
Yeah, I mean, it could have something to do with it. Typically, though, if you're going to kind of hit one a little bit bad, it's going to rub the rail regardless. These guys still, I've seen a lot of them that we've covered still using a lot of the rail.
Sure.
It's just one of those things where either you're hitting them crisp and clean, or maybe not quite there yet, and you can change that within this very match if you're not doing it. But I guarantee you the tight pockets haven't hurt these guys in the past. He's worried about this going too far, just in the nick of time.
Perfect play into that window. It was a pretty small window, and I like the choice to go all the way to the rail and float right back out rather than try to hold that ball with such a steep angle.
Federgorst leading EKLENT Kaci 3-1. Everybody else just really starting. Jason Schaub 6-2 versus Thorsten Homan. I'm assuming, Frank, is that last round or is that this round?
That is this round.
That is this round. Those guys are just playing at lightning speed. Because everybody else is at 0-0, basically. Yeah, an unfavorable point, but I think that he can get down here below the 5 and 3.
Thin the left side of the 2 and Should be able to float down pretty easily. I know that was kind of a fluke there that it hit the point, but to your point earlier, he did break from the very edge of that break box, right? So a little bit different track on the cue ball than with Kaci's break just the rack before.
Yeah. And really a lot of that also, Brad, has to do with how thick they hit the one, right? Or how much they draw the cue ball. I'll tell you what, I worked on this break for about 6 months when I was trying out for Team USA the only year in 2015, and I wish people kind of, if you haven't done it, give it a shot, because the accuracy is incredibly difficult. These guys make it look so easy. But to your point right there, or your question and point, I guess, sometimes you can catch the one a bit thick and still make it in the side, but the cue ball will track a little bit higher. It's such a fine line between right where they want to be and just a bit off. Yeah, getting to the second rail here on the long rail by design. Don't know that he got away with it. He did find the gap for him, I believe.
Think you're going to the air? Is only a portion of that 9-ball to jump here?
Yeah, I think he can get to the whole ball. I'm not certain, though. Now he's taking a look. It's close. I thought he was wide open for a minute.
It's hard to tell from this angle if just the 9 just has a little piece of it.
Right.
And maybe swerve it?
Clearly does have a piece of it.
Now, does the 3 pass the 7?
Yeah, the 3 does pass the 7, but I don't know if he's jumping it that he can get to the short side of it. If he could have gotten to the 2 clean, I felt like he could get back through the gap between the 3 and 9 and play this 3 down low in the same pocket, but he's sure given this a lot of time. If it's as difficult as he's making it look, what about crossing the 2? Because you can get to that half. I'm not going to be happy with it. He might get away with it, though, and he did.
Yeah, sometimes just a little deceiving. Just really had just enough of it to make it frustrating.
Yeah, a lot of times, we can't see what they can see down there because this game is such a fickle game, dealing with millimeters or less at times. Yeah, if he's going this way. Yeah, he was definitely trying to make it there. Boy, what a wild game this is. Going at the make, it didn't really feel like there was a way he was going to end up kind of safe, and sure enough. He's ended up safe.
Can he see just the edge of that 2-ball to leave the cue ball down table behind the 9?
Yeah, I think he'll look to swerve if he can't, right? I think that's probably the play. Just a little bit of a swerve. Just got to be able, or be careful not to double kiss this, over swerving it if he can't see a piece of it.
Yeah, take a long, hard look at it.
Yeah, going with an inside ball for sure. Just maybe a tickle of a swerve around the 3. That's all you could ask for, right?
Absolutely. He was in a tough spot, and he left this equally tough. All right. Freezer steps away for just a moment here. Wanted to welcome Frank Mialetti onto the stream. Happy to have you back, Frank. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Working on some graphics for the top 16 here. We just sent out John Mora and Hunter Lombardo. Niels Fine is waiting for an opponent, and so is Lucas.
One more round tonight, Frank?
One more round, yes, sir. I'm going to play
Okay.
this round, and then we have 10:30 will be the top 8, which will bring us down to the final 4 tomorrow. Start time for tomorrow's final 4 is 11:30 a.m.
Great contact marathon of a day for some of these players today, huh?
Yeah.
What time did we get started today? 11:15?
11:15 was the first round call. I got here at 8:30, and Feder was here. Some of the guys with the booths were here already by then.
I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us today. It's a long day for us, and we know it's a long day for you at home, right? So, a lot of credit to these players, the stamina here to be able to battle your way through a tournament like this.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah, we touched on it the other day about how these players treat themselves like athletes.
Sure. Yeah.
So having that stamina and be able to play 13, 14, 15 hours a day.
So I heard, speaking of stamina in the tournaments, Derby got adjusted a little bit, right? Schedule-wise?
Derby, yeah, they added another day.
Yeah.
Players loved it because then it wasn't as grueling.
Yeah. I mean, that was always known as a super grueling tournament, right?
Yeah.
And
I think these are the rumors that I've heard, and they're true, but the players really kind of were talking to the tournament directions squad because the Derby was a WNT event.
Sure.
So they were concerned with players being just incredibly tired because of the other events lasting so long.
And
that they
hurting
weren't-
their ranking, right?
Exactly, weren't able to give the roll.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here, especially early on, because you're always in that points race, right? You're always fighting for points. So
PIJUS made a really good jump shot there. Just missed it to the top pocket. Sorry to cut you off, Brad. It was just a incredible shot.
Absolutely. I don't think a lot to be gained by going for a pot here. I think you're going to need to stay defensive. What are you seeing, Frank?
There could be like a Z type shot safety here. Banking the 2 just before the 8, and letting the cue come down to the bottom rail, and then letting it hit off that second rail, go to the top. EKLENT could also come to the right side of the 2 ball, hide the cue up to the top portion of the table. But if he does that, he has to be careful of the 9 ball. After this rack, we'll give you a scoring update on the matches that are currently being played, because we are waiting for a couple of matches to get done from the previous round, the play-in round. Ralph Okay is up 7-5 on Sullivan Clark. Sanjin Pelovanovic is up 8-5 on Oscar Dominguez. That's still the stage 1 matchups. We need them to finish to start those other 2 stage 2. Lucas and Neil Svein are waiting to get one of those opponents.
Thank you for that update, Frank. I think if these guys want to keep track at home, they can go right on Digital Pool, right?
You can go on digitalpool.com, go right to tournaments, and this is the featured event. It'll be the first one that you see.
Live scoring on all the matches, and there's also live stream on every table here, right? So if you want to go to digitalpool.com/SBX, correct?
That would actually, so the changes when you go for the video would be digitalpool.net
Okay.
/SBX.
Perfect.
But digitalpool.com for all the bracketing.
Fantastic.
P was really looking at this shot. Spent a couple of days in Connecticut with PIJUS. I used to shot by PIJUS. We went out to dinner a couple nights. Real nice kid. He's from Lithuania. Real good head on his shoulders. Young, just incredibly driven to become a great player. I mean, he's already a world-class player.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of talk about juniors. Him and I spent a couple of days too. I've met Francisco Candela before, but it was the first time I kind of hung out with Francisco Candela on a like on a personal level, not at a tournament.
Yeah.
He's a really funny guy. From Italy, just real good energy, fun to be around. All right, PIJU's going to play the 3. Has to avoid that side pocket. It's the point of the pocket. It's going to get a nice good roll out of it. Little jelly.
Yeah, looking at coming off that side rail down to that bottom rail. It's going to come off a little bit hot here, right? Got a little bit thinner than he wanted. Coming as a back cut here.
Yeah, speed control is a big thing here. And you know as well as I do, you get out of line, you're fighting the whole rack to get back in. So he has to really maintain his speed.
Yeah, double checking that line, just making sure he gets down there clean. Narrowly misses and gets exactly where he wants to.
Yeah,
oh, what a
fantastic
shot.
shot. Check that back on the replay. Coming around. PIJUS plays the 5 in. Flits up for the 6. little natural. He just has to be careful of his speed. So, Brad, I know you've been to the Super Billiards Expo plenty of times, but
Sure.
how is it being behind the scenes now of the Super Billiards Expo?
Yeah, so I haven't been, I think, in a couple years, right? But I'll tell you one big difference I've noticed. Rather, sorry, it's getting a little late at night for me. A lot of hours in the booth here. I think the field in the pro event is just unreal strong compared
yes.
to where it was. I mean, I don't know what the big change is. I mean, the payouts are really healthy. They're nice payouts, and I like that it's
the WNT with the added money is, you know.
Yeah, that's a big difference maker. Hey, great pot there on the 9. Way to keep things close. But yeah, Frank, I mean, to answer your question, I think the biggest difference I've seen, right, is just the level of the competition this year.
All right, so let's give you some updates real quick on the scoring. We still have those 2 first stage matchups still going. Sanjin Pelovanovic is up 8-6 on Oscar Dominguez. Ralph Souquet 8-5 on Sullivan Clark. The winners of them get Niels and Lucas. Then on to the stage 2 portion. Single elimination. Claudio Cacci has come back and tied the matchup 3-3 against Federkorst. Jason Shaw out to a healthy lead on Thorsten Hamann 7-4. Jesus Atenzio is up 3-2 on El Ferrari Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Shane Wolford out 3-0 on David Alcady. John Moore and Hunter Lombardo has just started. And we have our score here. EKLENT Kaci versus PIJUS LABUTIS. EKLENT is up 3-2. His break. We are rejoined by the freezer.
I've been freezer burnt. Big action on the 9. The 1 went high. And another awkward rack.
Yeah, he's eyeing up kicking back at this. I don't think that or trying to hide it up there behind the 9-8. I don't know what the window looks like. A little deceiving from this angle. Yeah, he's got to have the window the way he's cueing that ball. Yeah, just as we thought. Just don't want this to leak. And if it does, roll back behind the 6. Perfect. Man, a lot to contend with from here. There's a window there, yeah, between the 2 and the 6. Catch that rail first. And you know what? It could make contact with the 4 and float down toward that pocket. Worst case, you hit it with a little bit of pace and hope it covers.
Yeah, wouldn't mind catching the backside of the 1 too if he could, but that 2's a big ball. Oh, he hit it with pace.
Yeah, ran into some extra traffic there. It's hard to keep control of that, but did maintain to get a good hit. Gives Labutis a great look here.
Yeah, what does he do? Can he stay below the 2? Or does he just punch up above the 6? I think he can stay below the 2. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, just accepted a little more distance there. Didn't really want to go forward. Might have been a little concerned about drifting behind the 8. Sanjan Pelivanovic up 8-6 versus Oscar Dominguez. Ralph Souquet, this man just doesn't stop. Somebody in our booth, I think it was you, Brad, used the term timeless. Well, he is timeless because he is continuing forward, up 8-5 versus Sullivan Clark. You just get the sense this match might go the distance.
Yeah, they've been trading some racks here. A little bit of back and forth.
Perfect here. Connecting the dots now. Might have liked another rotation or two, but he can definitely hold. Labutis, this year's winner of the 10-foot or Bigfoot Challenge at the Derby City Classic. I covered that. I tell you what, he impressed me for never playing on a 10-foot table.
Yeah, Frank and I were just talking about the. You just stepped out for just a moment there. We were talking about the absolute marathon some of these days can be, right? So we got a very early start today, and we still have another round to go. And we just touched on the Derby and how the Derby actually made an adjustment, right, to make that schedule a little bit more manageable for the players, because there was was a little bit of difficulty there. I mean, that was I know there's some appeal to that too, right? I mean, players say that, but
yeah, it's still a real big grind.
Yeah.
They made a big adjustment for sure, and it's a great topic, and they've worked real hard. Jason Sword, Diamond, Chad Charlo. I can tell you, Mark Wilson and I covered that event, and I think we were in the booth from 11 a.m. till about 2 a.m. every day for 12 straight days. But with that change, what they did, Brad, was added an extra day. I'm sure you guys just talked about that. They added an extra day and made all of the finals on Sunday. So they had the finals of the Banks, the finals of the One Pocket, and the finals of the NineBall on the final day. I thought it was pretty cool, and what it actually did is kept a lot of people around, so I thought it was a great idea. But years prior, there were matches going till 5, 6, 7 in the morning, which I was also involved in. So they made a big improvement there. Now look at this break. My goodness gracious. Yeah, heavy contact, one rail back into the 7. There is no trouble here. Maybe the combination on the 4-6. You just don't want to follow the 4 in, but You could stop there to play the 7 in the top left. I don't see it. While you're at it, do us a favor, Frank Miletti, PA Pro Am Pool, YouTube, check him out. He's done some cool stuff, a couple of little podcasts out there, and with some decent players. Yours truly as well. Got some stories on my life. Doing a lot of things on YouTube. PA Pro Am Pool. Also, share the stream, guys. digitalpool.net/Super Billiard Expo or SBX. And then, of course, WNTTV.com. Yeah, Brad, really the only concern, I think he's aware of it, and that's why he's taking the time he is, because he's a pretty fluid player, is getting to the 7 from the 4, so he doesn't want to follow the 4 in off the 6. Unless he potentially just decides to play it that way, but I don't think he will. I think he'll just roll this softly.
He'd be in a little bit of trouble if that fell early. You don't think he opts to push both balls and come back now?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you've got to hit it a little harder, right? And then just in case, if you hit it a little firmer, then maybe the 4 kind of gets away.
Yeah.
But the 6 is so deep. Yeah, I think he's got to roll this ball. I don't think you can hit it with too much speed. Okay, the 4, that's pretty fortunate. He caught the point with the 4. At the speed at which he hit it was very surprising, because the 4 could have easily gotten away.
He got a little bit of lucky there, but that's part of the game.
He didn't feel comfortable rolling it. Thought the 4 would follow in. That was kind of always the concern that I had within the rack, but now I think home free.
Yeah, thin cut on the 7, plenty of rail to use.
Yeah, I was just trailing 3 games to 1. It's just kind of wild how quick things can change, and even in the alternate break format. 2 balls away, 2 balls away from taking the lead. Yes, it has been a long day.
All right. Labutis closes that out. Goes up 4-3 on EKLENT KACI. EKLENT's up to break next.
Hey guys, check out integritycues.com, offering high-end cues, production cues, pre-owned cues, cases, and accessories. integritycues.com.
Hey, my name is Francisco Django Bustamante, and you're watching a Pro Am Pool.
Yeah, so new leader in the clubhouse. Two years ago, PIJUS LABUTIS made the finals of the Derby City NineBall. Lost to Joshua Filler.
Who's in the finals here last year? Better get this lost to Jason.
Yeah, Frank just told me he was in the finals here last year. neither myself nor Jeremy Jones have been here in well over a decade. It's nice to be back. The environment is nuts. Oscar Dominguez on, I believe, the 8 ball with the 9 left to tie it up 8 games apiece. Was trailing 8-6. Yeah, long ball here. Can get into the cue ball pretty nicely. Wow. What a strike by the big man.
Yeah, hit that with a lot of confidence. Oh, got a replay of it. Here we go. All right, Kachi on a little bit of a roadmap here to make it 4-all. A lot of trading racks back and forth right now. Almost hung that 7. Really came close to dangerous leave there, huh, Scott?
Yeah, he caught it extremely thin. Maybe a little overspin there, just catching the thin side, twisting it out. He's all right. Caught it a little heavy there, caught the inside of the pocket. Crowd applauding. Somebody must have just won. The only person I can think of is Jason Shaw, and I just got the thumbs up. Yeah, 10-5 over Thorsten Homan. Shane Wolford leading 4-2 versus Al Katie. Mora 2-0 versus Hunter Lombardo. Suke up 8-5 over Sullivan Clark. And Dominguez, Palavanovic are snowmen, tied up at 8 apiece. Watch out, cue ball. Treacherous kiss from the top side. What are you going to do? Take another look. It's always the 9, it seems.
A bit surprising, right? I thought it was a...
Yeah, I think he's having a little fun here. Is he really going to play the combination, or is he just concerned that the 4 doesn't pass? The layout is not bad. I am surprised to your point.
Yeah, it's all right here for him, and this would be a big swing. I think we're going to see him change this.
Yeah, you'll rarely see with an open table. The 4 not really tied up at all. Where they take on some type of a combo at this distance. Now, I can't fault him if he shoots it because he must feel good about it. But to your point, he is changing. There's nothing wrong with just coming down towards the top of the 6 or the inside of the 6, either one rail. Not forced to play it in the lower left. Yeah, that needs to carry. He was a little bit concerned about coming towards the 7 or the 6. Pretty thin here, up and down. Chose to come to the long rail. Even better. Put in a lot of work so far this rack. Pelavanovic wins game number 17 versus Dominguez, leading 9 games to 8. Ralph Souquet on the hill versus Sullivan Clark, 9 games to 5.
All right, guys. Frank and I are going to close out the night with you here. We're going to give the Freezer a little bit of a break. He's going to do the finals tomorrow. Come in well rested.
All right.
All right, Frank.
And the Golden Eagle pops it in, makes the score 5-4.
Getting flashbacks of last night with all of our matches
Yeah,
being
right.
barn burners, right? Yeah, they're all going down to the end here and trading back and forth, but
I'm in it for the long haul, buddy. I live for it. All right, we got 5-4, EKLENT KACI. The Kaiser, Ralph Souquet, is on the hill against Sullivan Clark, 9-5.
it's one of my picks early on. I said I'd love to see him make it to the end, and looks like he's doing just that.
Ralph, the ever consummate professional. John Moore is now up 3-0 on Hunter Lombardo. El Matador is trying to make a comeback against Shane Wolford. He's down 4-3. Cledio is up 5-4 on Feder. And FSR is up 6-3 on Jesus Atencio.
Kachi family both up 5-4.
Yeah. Imagine being the mother of the Kachis. You give birth to not one, but two world-class pool players. Just doesn't seem fair.
You know what I'm going to say? Being in the Philadelphia area, there's another mother.
It just doesn't
Kelsey.
seem fair. Yeah, the Kelseys.
There you go. Yeah, that's got to be a real treat.
Eklent. Trying to get these balls locked in and tight. He's going to break off here in rack 10. Folks, I am actually going to switch microphones here. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to go. Be right back. All right, I'm back.
All right. Eklent Kaci leading 5-4. Up with the break. Again, favoring a couple spots into that break box. A lot of the players going far outside.
Brad, I can tell you that going into the top 8 round, that the main TV table will be Jason Shaw and whoever he plays, either Federer or Cledio.
Great match. Good break here.
Just in case I don't get a chance to say it tomorrow, this is obviously my first time doing the Super Billiards Expo, and I'll be honest with you, it's my first time doing an event this big for my company, PA Pro-Am, and I'm just really happy with all the love and support I've got from everybody, and I appreciate every time everybody gives me the love and support, puts me out there, shares me, everything like that. It's a labor of love. Obviously, I look at it as an art form, presenting a stream, producing a stream. So I'm just very appreciative of everybody. Of course, if you'd like to see more of what I do, I try to do it for as free as possible. Obviously, sometimes there are some expenses that we need to cover, but I love pool. I love putting pool out there for everybody to see. So you're more than welcome to check out PA Pro-Am Pool on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and obviously we'll be doing our best to give you top class streams and action all the time.
Yeah, I may be a little biased. I don't want to get too far away from the rack here. I might be a little biased being a personal friend of yours, but I don't think that there's another amateur stream in the United States that can compete with this, and the quality that you put together here. We've heard nothing but good things from the players and the spectators, so really phenomenal. Great work to you, and I highly suggest to everybody, check out PA Pro-Am's YouTube page. I mean, there's so much good pool to be seen, and player interviews, and saw you doing a couple little interviews earlier, huh?
Yeah, I have some stuff I'm going to put out. I'm not putting it out right away. That'll be more on the YouTube and Facebook portion. I want them to be like a collection of interviews. Awesome.
Yeah, check it out. Like, share, follow the YouTube page, and a lot of really good content, and maybe a look at some of the players here that you wouldn't have got to see otherwise. But yeah, kind of not the best. Speaking of looks, not the best look at the 2-ball here. What are you seeing here, Frank?
It's going to have to be a 1 to a 2 rail escape. Looking to maybe come right side rail. Possibly trying to get under the 2. You know, kick the 2 down rail and try to hold behind that 8-ball. We have a final in the Sanjin Palavalovic match. He has defeated Oscar Dominguez with a score of 10-8. And then he'll move on to the next round and play Niels Vian. Long distance here from the cue to the 2. It's very easy to say just kick and stick, but this is a full table kick and stick, which is not an easy option to do. I'm looking over at the Federer-Gorst match. Federer's down. Pockets a 9-ball. He's now taken the lead 6-5 over Claudio Cacci. Brad, I will say it's funny. We have like 4 or 5 screens here where we're at. You know, you have a screen, I have a screen, but I also have like 2 more. I was ready to commentate this other match that has nothing to do with what our viewers are watching right now. Had to make sure I pivoted myself. PIJUS is looking at the 2-ball. He's looking to see if it's going to fit in that side pocket. Let's take a look at it. It's makeable, but it's incredibly tight, and the speed that he's going to have to use.
Yeah, some traffic in the way too. You got the 6 to contend with, and you got some other balls there to try to work around.
PIJUS really breaking this one down on a molecular level. He's looking at the 2. This is a very important shot for him to tie it up or go down by 2. He puts it in the side pocket. Great shot by PIJUS. Runs off the 6. All right, PIJUS 3-ball down. He's out for the 4.
Let's be careful here with the 4. Not incredibly careful. I mean, he just doesn't want to run into that 9. He wants to get position on the 5. Not to disturb any balls on the table here. It's a pretty clean run out. I fully expected him to get the position that he got. Pretty elementary out here right now from PIJUS to play the 8 to the corner and come down for the 9. All right, we're tied up 5 apiece. All right, everyone, while we're waiting for the player break to commence, we're going to jump over to 14 just until the players come back to the table. We're going to give you what would be the exciting final rack. Actually, you know what? No, let's not. Let's jump over to table 15 just to give you one little rack real quick. Federer versus EKLENT Kaci. We're only going to stay here for a minute until the players come back from the break. And then we will jump back over to that mainstream match. So don't go anywhere. Just hang out with us for a minute until the players come back. Looks like PIJUS is coming back to the table here any second. I'm looking for Federer to fire in this 8-9. And that would give him an 8-5 lead if he gets out here. All right, we have 8-5 Federer. We're going to move back to the other table now. PIJUS putting a rack together. It's his break. Scores 5-5. All right, folks, just waiting for the player break to end. Appreciate your patience. While we're waiting, well, I guess we'll just jump back over to that Federer match for a few minutes. We have some action going on the screen, and then we will jump right back when Kaci comes back. All right, EKLENT up to the table now. He's going to rack the balls up. See if we can get an updated score for you real quick. right, PIJUS getting ready to break the rack. Cledio's back. We got 5-5 on the score. And 1 ball down and the cue ball down also. All right, ball in hand for Cledio in a good position to be able to take the lead here in this matchup. All right, Eklund going to play the 2. Looking to maybe run into the 7 or just clear through the 3-7. Right, great positioning by Eklund. He's going to play the 3 to the bottom left corner. Eklund around the horn, getting onto the 4. All right, Brad. So last night we had the grinder match, which was Donnie Mills and Raymond Linares, the Battle of Florida. Looks like the grinder match right now is the Kaiser versus Sully Clark.
What's the current score there?
The Kaiser's on the hill, but Sully's got 6.
Ooh.
He's coming back a little bit. All right, Eklund out to the 5. He's got to be careful, though. He's leaning over top of these balls. All ball fouls tournament. With the grace of a ballerina, gets the 5 ball in the corner and comes around to the 6. FSR is on the hill against Jesus Atencio, 9-3. It's good to see Jesus playing back again. He was taking a little bit of time off. I know he's got a family. Sullivan Clark's made it 9-7 now. Eklund trying to make it 6-5 his favor. John Moore just went up 6-1 on Hunter Sullivan. Alright, Eklund with a pretty routine 9-ball into the bottom right corner. He's going to take the lead 6-5. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow, Final 4 semifinals starts at 11:30 a.m. Finals at 2. We'll have one of the mainstream table going if you want to be able to watch both matches, though. Even if you're subscribed to WNT TV, you can have WNT TV in one browser, and on the second browser, you can have digitalpool.net/SBX and watch both of the semifinals at the same time. And we have a finish. El Ferrari has defeated Jesus Atenzio. That'll move FSR into the next round. He gets the winner of the current matchup with PIJUS LABUTIS and EKLENT KACI.
Does he have a piece of this too, Frank? Looks like
You
it.
know,
right?
I was thinking that too. It's close. From this angle, it looks like he's got a piece of it. Thin piece, but I think the piece that he's going to hit is actually the piece that would be needed to be hit to make the shot. All right, EKLENT KACI has his angle needed. He's going to sight in. KACI fires the 2 in. Makes contact with the 9 now. The 9 is going to roll around the table. I'll leave EKLENT a shot on the 3. Not the hardest, but definitely a shot that requires a little bit of patience and skill.
Hit that one good. A little bit of room to come back and forth for that 5, right?
That was a very nice shot.
It goes just fine. Nothing tied up. Nice and open.
You know, it's funny, Brad. The players like EKLENT make this shot look incredibly easy. This 4 ball coming out 2 rails for the 5. But to the amateur player, you know, this is not the easiest shot. This requires a look of speed and, you know, no, I was looking at the side pocket because, like, you know, most of us amateurs will scratch in there.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to give him the curse yet until it was over.
Can he punch this rail and float out to the pro side of that 6?
I do believe he can, yes.
There we go.
Eklet good on the 7. We'll play the 7 in. We're going to go around 3 rails. Right side rail, top rail, left rail. He doesn't want to be straight on the 8. Give himself a slight angle. Mr. Ralph Soke has 2 balls left to get himself into a matchup against Lucas Werner. Kaci's going to draw, so he's going to go 2 rails. Top rail, side rail. And I'll play the punch shot also. I'll punch the 8 into the corner. Here's some cheering there. I believe Mr. Soke has got out. Kaci pulls back for the 9. And at 56 years young, Mr. Ralph Soke has defeated Sullivan Clark. And that'll put Ralph Soke into the top 16.
That's cash.
Yes, it is.
Worst you can do is with the adjusted payout. What's that? 3,000.
3,000
adjusted payout.
Yeah.
Not a bad worst case scenario.
All right, Kaci down to the 9, looking to take a 2-game lead and make the score 7-5. All right, we got 7-5 on the score. All right, PIJUS the break. That was a good roll on that break. Side pocket and 1 kick in the corner. Got 2 down. All right, so we got our top 16 now.
All right, you giving us the rundown?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got Federer currently in the matchup against Cledio, 8-6. Jason defeated Torsten earlier. FSR defeated Jesus Atencio a few minutes ago. We have our current matchup here. And in a battle, David Arcady's now taking the lead at 7-6 over Shane Wolford. Ralph Soke and Lucas Werner will be starting in a few minutes. Niels Fayen and Sanjin Pelovanovic are tied up 1-1. And John Moore is up 6-3 over Hunter Lombardo. PIJUS plays a backwards cut into the rail off the 8 into the corner.
Is he going to take a swing at it? I think he just pushed forward and saved, right?
I'd like to see it.
Yeah. It almost looks like it's begging to go on that side.
It's a little
but that's-
juicy, isn't it?
Yeah.
See the the light and the dark side of me. The light side is, play the safe. The dark side's like, I know you don't want to do it, but fire at it anyway. Shane Wolford a second here to play his shot before PIJUS plays his. All right, Wolford getting down on his shot. As soon as he's finished, PIJUS play his shot, showing the courtesy, of course. Brad, I think he's looking at it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's looking at a calculated two-way, in my opinion. Maybe fire at the 9, but also protect the shot. But now with the adjustment, I don't think he is. Yeah. Kind of looking to go and spear the ball a little bit. Put Eklund in a tough spot here. He's close to the... Eklund's going to get the jump cue. He's close to the 9, though. But Eklund does have a definite height advantage over some players. Let's see how close with the 9-ball he can get over it. What do you think here, Brad?
Yeah, I mean it's up close.
It's
but
tight.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you see here? I mean, you can come off that bottom rail,
Yeah,
but
I'm thinking.
there's not a whole
I'm
lot
thinking
of
it could be a two-railer play here. If you look to the right side of the screen, right where Eklund just pulled that piece of chalk at, using your diamond system, I think maybe 2 rails can hit the 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eklund's going to take the 1 railer. Hit it. Well, it doesn't go in, though. It's going to leave PIJUS clear shot. Piyu's looking at the 4. He's needing to get position on the 5. Just going to draw out from the 4. Just play the 5 to the top right corner. Excellent speed on that shot. Now, Brad, take a look at the shot. Look at where the cue ball will be traveling. Cue ball essentially is going away from the 7. So Piyus is going to come up. Place the 7 in. So he gets close to the 6. To be able to play the 6 1 rail, possibly even 2 rails up. Watch the 8. That's what I was saying. He was playing away from the 7.
Yep.
You know, obviously the 6 ball's the next shot, but playing away from the 7, he's going to roll the ball almost, you know, to the side versus being able to roll it straight.
I think you got to kick it with pace.
Yeah. All right, Claudio Kaci got out of his last rack. That score in there, over there with Feder Gorse is now 8-7. Feder in the lead. Two railer from Piyus. It's a good fortunate roll with the 7 behind the 8. Eklent does have a piece of it. Let's see if Eklent can maybe bank the 7 down table and hold the cue behind the 8. Might be going rail first into the 7. He's looking at it, Brad. He's looking at the 1 railer. 1 rail into the 7 with it. Looks like he keeps talking himself out of it.
Yeah. I just don't know what the reward is going at it this way. I think it's going to be a really
I think more of a fuller hit is what he's looking to go for. They hit it very well.
Got it. Wow. That's I don't know. That was just such a big ask.
I hit it perfect. Actually hit it very, very well. Played a great pro shot there against PIJUS. PIJUS is in a little bit of trouble here. Kind of took the kick away. He took the one rail kick away at least. Could be multiple rails, but I don't think PIJUS is going to go airborne on this one. PIJUS with a great shot. Got his pilot's license from Lithuanian Airlines. Makes that shot. He's going to get up for the 8-ball into the top left pocket. Eklund's got to be shaking his head right now. He thought he had him in a great position. PIJUS is one ball away from cutting that deficit. PIJUS fires at it with a little bit of speed, a little bit of authority. Makes the score 7-6. Eklent. And Feder just got himself onto the hill. 9-7.
Hey everyone, so if you love pool, then you need to check out PA Pro-Am Pool on YouTube. Like and subscribe now.
And in the other matchup, Feder breaking for the win. Scratch on the break and it's going to give Claudio ball in hand. Back here on this table, Eklent the break in the lead, 7-6. Eklent came with the thunder on that one. Maybe slightly a little anger from last rack when he played such a great shot. Alright, he's got a clear shot on the 2. I'll play the 2 to the corner. Watch cue ball go back and forth. Alright, Eklent on the 2. Out to the 3. I like him playing a little bit of low here, Brad. Is he going to come between the rail and the 6? Or do you think 2 rails and try to... I mean, he might even go 1, actually. Between
1 kill it, right? Yeah.
1 with a little bit of kill
Yeah.
between the 8 and the 6, possibly. Come right through that little window.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't mind Eklund shooting the 2 rail shot here. He just has to be mindful of the 9-ball. Doesn't want to run into it on the way out. Like I said, Brad, he doesn't want to run into it on the way out. He still has an okay shot on the 5, but he wanted to be a little higher for positioning purposes.
Yeah, it just made his life a little bit more challenging here.
Eklund back for the 6. I'm liking the 6 in the side pocket. Playing low on the cue ball, running the cue ball into the left side rail. Do you say anything different there, Brad?
Nah, really limited on options here. Yeah, it looks like what he's choosing to do is try to kill this right over to the rail. We've seen that a few times tonight. Yeah, coming in pace in that side pocket, just jawing up and spitting right out. Pockets don't like that. Side pockets don't like that shot.
And Claudio Cacci on his break with Feder on the hill. Scratches. Makes 2 on the break. But the 8 and 7 are locked up. All right, PIJUS at the table. Was not expecting to get back to the table. Playing safe all day long. Locks him behind the 9. It's going to force Cacci to kick. The 6 looks pretty big for Kachi, though, especially coming off if he catches the second rail. You don't want to try to catch that second rail to come down table for the 8 if he does pocket the 6. Spins, does not get there. It's going to leave PIJUS. Slight back cut. Back cut the 6 into the pocket. A lot of cheering going over there on the Feder Gorst and Cledio Kachi match. Match is not over, but Feder made great jump shot over the 9. And got himself lined up on the 4-9 combination for the win. PIJUS cuts that ball in. It's perfect on the 8 ball. Feder wins the match, and that's going to... Oh, PU misses the 9. Wow. We were poised for a 7-7 tie.
Table 4 is going to be Feder Gorst and Jason Shaw. Table 4.
You got to wonder if the crowd exiting for the... at the end of the Feder Kachi match kind of maybe distracted PIJUS a little bit. The volume in the room got just slightly a little loud.
When the match on table 4 is over.
All right, and we're back here on the EKLENT Kaci PIJUS Labutis match. Got down a little tough on the 3. He's going to have to back cut the 3 ball. Back cut it to the corner. Back cuts the 3. 5 goes up towards the top. All of his work is at that end. Just has to come back down for the 9. And he holds a cue ball up that end for the 5. All right, Eklent out to the 8. He's got 2 more balls to pocket to get himself on the hill against PIJUS Labutis. All right, Eklent is also breaking for the win, too. right, Eklent to break. Breaking for the win. He destroyed that rack. 2 down. Good shot on the 4. I'm sorry, good shot on the 2. 4's at the top end. It's got a little bit of work, though, to take the 2 down to the 3. Eklent makes a great shot off the 2 to get to the 3 ball. Narrowly missing that side pocket, but he's in a good position now to play the 3 and get himself back up for the 4. Eklent goes right around the 6. It got so quiet in this room you can hear a pin drop, so I'm not making too much noise because I don't want the players to be disturbed. All right, Eklent. He's got to hold this ball. A little bit of outside English. He's not going to hold it. He's going to let it whip around the table. He plays a great 3-rail position on for the 6. Eklent comes off 1 rail for the 7. He's got 3 more left to get himself into the top 8. And if Eklent gets out here, his opponent's going to be El Ferrari, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Seems like Team Europe is really strong this year. Eklent, Al-Kaidi, Shaw, FSR, all still in it. Got to avoid the side. Catches the point, and EKLENT KACI is going to move on. Barring a major catastrophe, he's going to move on to the next round. And there you have it, folks. EKLENT KACI on to the next round against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. We'll be right back here in a moment, folks.